So I want to talk about tendons today. If you're experiencing any kind of joint pain, or maybe you've been told or suspect that you have tendonitis, this video is for you. So what often happens is we get into routines where we're doing physical exercises and we see our muscles get stronger and we think we're great and we're safe, and then we do too much too fast for our tendons. So tendons are really critical to getting you to that point where you can be as active as you want, however you want. And some of us have even more challenges with tendons. So if you have a hypermobility disorder like EDS or joint hypermobility syndrome, this is going to be really helpful for you. So what we want to do is we want to do more isometric exercises. Believe it or not, you can get 70% increase in the strength of your tendons by doing isometrics. So oftentimes what people do is they do isometrics when they're really weak and just starting a fitness program, or maybe they go to physical therapy and they do some isometrics, and then they think, okay, I'm past the isometrics, I just want to do things more like my sport or more like my activity. And what they don't realize is that you need to continue to do things like isometrics to keep up that tendon strength. The research actually shows that it takes about 2 months to change the physical structures of your tendons to strengthen them. And whenever you do that with isometrics and then you maintain it, you're great. But if you stop doing them for a month, that physical change goes back to what it was before, okay? So this is something you do regularly, but it doesn't have to take a huge amount of time or effort. It's just important that you know what to do, all right? So let's talk about this a little bit. Obviously, we have tendons all over our body. They are what attach our muscles to the bone, right? So for instance, the bicep we have here, there is a bicep tendon that attaches it at the shoulder. A lot of us are familiar with our Achilles tendon, right? That attaches our calf to our heel. There's a quadriceps tendon that attaches from our quadriceps muscle to the patella or our kneecap. So there's lots of things, lots of different tendons we can focus on depending on what it is you do. So let's look at an example. How do we want to do an isometric to maximize our tendon strength gains? Let's try one out. A common isometric that we can work on that quad tendon that I spoke of, which is really going to help if maybe you have some kind of knee tracking issue, right? A lot of us have popping and clicking, and that's not great. It means the kneecap doesn't track well, and you probably need to gain some strength in the quadriceps and specifically that quad tendon. So what we can do a wall set. We can come back right against a wall, and you can play with this depending how active you are and depending how much strength you currently have. You can start kind of high up, right? I'm not sitting all the way parallel, I'm sitting kind of up, and I'm feeling an isometric exercise, a contraction that I hold in my quadriceps. Now, an important part when I'm really trying to make sure that I'm maximizing the gain in that tendon strength is that I do this for a longer duration, okay? So you're looking at something about 50 to 70% of your max effort. So if you don't think well in percentages, don't worry. Think that it shouldn't be too easy, but it shouldn't be super, super hard. It should be challenging, but pretty manageable without you really feel like you're stressing yourself, right? Try to get this at 1 to 2 minutes. And if 1 to 2 minutes at this angle is really, really easy, take it down. And it is good to kind of vary the positions you do this in, because what you're doing is you're varying the muscle length, right? So the higher up I am, the shorter that quadricep muscle is. And as I go down, the quadricep actually lengthens, even though it's still contracting. And it's really good for your body and for your brain, which is super important, to make that connection, contracting the quadriceps muscle at different lengths. In terms of frequency, like most strength training programs, you're going to want to do this 1 to 3 times a week, maybe a couple of sets, and you'll be on your way to really strengthening those tendons.